To address some important conversations happening across the WNBA, including remarks made earlier this week by Napheesa Collier. First, let me
2 minutes ago, the WNBA world exploded. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, the woman who's supposed to be steering this league into its golden era, is now fighting for her professional life. And here's the kicker.
You should resign. You need to resign. Period. Reason I say that, doggy, is
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, the man she reports to, is reportedly furious. Not annoyed, not disappointed. Furious. The whispers coming out of league offices suggest that Engelbert's days might be numbered, and what's unfolding right now is nothing short of a full-blown crisis.
We're starting to glance in Adam Silver's direction now. And you see this. This is The Athletic.
So buckle up, because what you're about to hear is going to blow your mind. Let's rewind for a second and talk about how we got here. Cathy Engelbert was supposed to be the savior of the WNBA. When she took over as commissioner in 2019, she came in with a corporate pedigree.
I was disheartened to hear that some players feel the league, and me personally, do not care about them or listen to them, and if the players in the
that made everyone believe she was the right person for the job. She was the former CEO of Deloitte, one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. She had the business acumen. She had the connections. And most importantly,
guys, there was so much media. This is the most media that I've ever seen for a press conference. Now, some other topics that were brought up in this press conference.
She had the confidence of the NBA owners who control 60% of the WNBA. But here we are in 2025, and the league is in absolute turmoil. The players are revolting. The fans are divided.
By the way, The Athletic, owned by the New York Times. Yikes. Yikes.
And the entire foundation of the WNBA feels like it's cracking under the weight of broken promises and mismanagement. So what sparked this inferno? It all started when Napheesa Collier, one of the league's brightest stars and a key figure in the Women's National Basketball Players Association, decided she'd had enough.
you don't feel appreciated and valued by the league, then we have to do better and I have to do better. We know how great these players are on and off the court.
Collier didn't just criticize Engelbert, she eviscerated her. In a public statement that sent shockwaves through the basketball world, Collier called Engelbert dismissive, impersonable, condescending, and callous. She didn't stop there. She went on to accuse the commissioner of having the worst leadership in WNBA history. Let that sink in.
Soon, the commish may not even be its president. It's a wrap. It is
the worst in history, coming from someone who's not just a player, but an executive in the Players Union. Those words carry massive weight, but it gets even more explosive. According to Collier, during private conversations back in February, Engelbert allegedly made some jaw-dropping comments about none other than Caitlin Clark. You know Caitlin Clark, right?
Napheesa Collier earlier this week called the WNBA's leadership, quote, worst in the world, and charred Engelbert,
the rookie phenom who single-handedly transformed the WNBA's viewership this season. The woman who packed arenas, shattered TV ratings, and brought a level of mainstream attention to the league that it's never seen before. Well, according to Collier, Engelbert told her that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform the WNBA gives her,
its reputation by painting her as uncaring about players and demanding more praise for the league's growth. Wow.
She wouldn't make anything. Let me repeat that. The commissioner of the league allegedly told a players' union executive that the biggest star in the game, the woman who just saved their ratings, should be grateful for making crumbs on the court, while the league profits off her name and likeness. And here's the truly shocking part. Players were allegedly told they should be on their knees, thanking the league for the new broadcast deal. On their knees. Those are the words that Collier claims were used. Can you imagine the audacity? The disrespect? It's no wonder the players are up in arms. Now, Engelbert has come out swinging, denying parts of Collier's account. She's called the allegations inaccurate and vehemently denied ever using the phrase, on their knees. She's expressed that she's disheartened that players feel this way and promised to do better. But here's the problem. Her response feels hollow. She's denying specific quotes while completely sidestepping the bigger issue, which is that the players don't trust her. They don't believe she has their best interests at heart. And when you've lost the trust of the very people who make your league run, you're in serious trouble. And it's not just Napheesa Collier who's speaking out. Aya Wilson, the reigning MVP and arguably the face of the WNBA, has backed Collier's statements. When the best player in the league is publicly supporting criticism of the commissioner, that's a red flag the size of Texas. This isn't one disgruntled player airing personal grievances. This is a movement. Players across the league are standing in solidarity, and the message is crystal clear. They're done being silent. So what's really driving this revolt? Let's talk money, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. The current maximum salary in the WNBA is $249,000. Now, that might sound like a lot to the average person, but let's put it in perspective. NBA players get 50% of the league's revenue. 50%. WNBA players, they get less than 10%. Less than 10%. And here's the kicker. The WNBA just signed a new media deal worth $2.2 billion over 11 years. That's $200 million a year starting next season. The money is there. The league is profitable. And yet, the players are still getting peanuts. The league has proposed raising the maximum salary to $1 million, which sounds great on the surface. But the players aren't buying it. Why? Because they're not asking for handouts. They're asking for equity. They want a revenue-sharing model similar to what NBA players have. They're asking for 40% of league revenue, which is still less than what their male counterparts get, and the league is refusing to budge. It's not about greed. It's about respect. It's about being valued for the work they do and the product they put on the court. And speaking of the product, let's talk about the officiating disaster that's been plaguing the league. Fans and players have been screaming about this all season long. Inconsistent calls, dangerous plays going unpunished, star players getting hacked with no protection from the refs. Caitlin Clark, in particular, was subjected to brutal physical treatment game after game, and the officials did nothing. It was embarrassing to watch. And what was Engelbert's response? We'll review it in the off-season. That's it. No immediate action. No accountability. Just empty promises to look into it later. The players felt abandoned. The fans felt disrespected. And the credibility of the league took a massive hit. Engelbert eventually announced the formation of a state-of-the-game committee to review officiating. But by then, the damage was done. Trust had already been shattered. And when you combine the officiating mess with the pay disparity and the alleged disrespectful comments, you get a powder keg ready to explode. Now let's zoom out and talk about the real power structure here, because this isn't just about Cathy Engelbert. The NBA owns 60% of the WNBA. Engelbert reports directly to Adam Silver. So even if she gets the boot, nothing fundamentally changes unless the NBA ownership is willing to open up their wallets. And here's where things get interesting. Sources are saying that Adam Silver is not happy. Not happy at all. The optics of this situation are terrible. You've got the players in open revolt. The media coverage is brutal. And the entire narrative around the league's historic season is being overshadowed by labor drama. Silver knows that a work stoppage would be catastrophic. The CBA expires after the season, and negotiations are ongoing. But the players are frustrated. They have more leverage than they've ever had before. Viewership is up. Revenue is up. The product is selling. If the owners don't give them a fair deal, the players could walk. And if that happens, the WNBA's momentum grinds to a halt. Silver doesn't want that on his watch. But here's the catch. He can't force the owners to spend money they don't want to spend. So the question becomes, is Engelbert the sacrificial lamb? Is she about to get fired to appease the players while the ownership structure stays exactly the same? That's the billion-dollar question. Because let's be real, getting rid of Engelbert might calm things down temporarily, but it doesn't solve the systemic problem. The players want structural change. They want a fair revenue split. They want to be treated like the professional athletes they are. And unless the NBA owners are willing to make that happen, firing the commissioner is just a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. And then there's the fan perspective. The WNBA fan base is divided on this. Some people are defending Engelbert, pointing out that she secured the massive media deal, oversaw league expansion, and grew revenue significantly during her tenure. They argue that she's being scapegoated for problems that are bigger than any one person. Others are firmly on the side of the players, saying that leadership matters and Engelbert has proven herself to be tone deaf and out of touch. The numbers don't lie. League revenue is up over 200% in recent years, but player salaries have barely moved. That's not just bad business. That's exploitation. Here's what makes this moment so pivotal. The WNBA just had the best season in its history. Caitlin Clark brought unprecedented attention to the league. Arenas were packed. TV ratings soared. Corporate sponsors came flooding in. The momentum is real. But if the league fumbles this CBA negotiation, all of that goodwill evaporates overnight. We could be looking at the first lockout in WNBA history. Think about that. The league finally breaks through to the mainstream, and instead of capitalizing on it, they squander it with a labor dispute. That would be an absolute disaster. So where do we go from here? The CBA deadline is looming. Players are frustrated. Ownership is dug in. Engelbert is under fire from all sides. And Adam Silver is reportedly furious because this whole situation is a public relations nightmare. Will Engelbert survive this? Honestly, it's hard to say. She's losing the players. She's losing the fans. And if she's losing Adam Silver's confidence, she's running out of allies fast. But even if she goes, the real work begins. The next commissioner, whoever that is, will walk into the same broken system. They'll face the same ownership structure, the same revenue-sharing battles, the same questions about equity and respect. Engelbert might be the face of the problem right now, but she's not the root of it. The root is a league that's been undervaluing its players for decades. And until that changes, the drama will continue. This is a defining moment for the WNBA. The players have never had more power. The fans have never been more engaged. The money has never been bigger. What happens next will determine whether this league becomes the powerhouse it has the potential to be, or whether it collapses under the weight of its own dysfunction. The clock is ticking. The stakes are sky high. And Cathy Engelbert's job? It's hanging by a thread.